Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through the Hobart Hurricanes versus Sydney Thunder match 21 of the BBL SuperCoach, BBL 13 season, and going through how SuperCoach wise it was actually a really good game for me personally, but also the fact that there was a lot of failed players in this game that really helped me to, I guess, solidify myself before this last Melbourne game of the round, in which it looks like it should get on, but there's also fears that it might not, so you just got to be careful with that. And I'm okay with having at least one donut, but if they can get on, then I won't have a donut, and I'll have most likely I'll have about 800, 900 points, I'm guessing, for the round, which should be good enough to climb the ranks with, given how other players have failed, and I haven't really copped any low scores. I've only missed out on like two really good scores. But anyway, before we get into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into this video. So as you can see here, Cam Bancroft, 21 off 20, only the 21 points, I believe. He didn't do anything with in the field. He missed a stumping, I believe, or a caught off of Tanvi Sanger, I want to say, in the chase, but didn't do anything. So he only got the 21 points, which was really influential, given that his I believe he was traded out by a lot of people, but I believe if we look here at, I just want to check, and I can do this very quickly. If I go Sydney Thunder and Hobart, and then almost pick the teams, you'll see Sam's, McDermott, Sanger. So all my guys were majority owned, but if we go to top 1%, and then we go to ownership, you will see Cam Bancroft was still 23% owned, basically. So that was still huge. So you only got 21, and then you also see Matt Wade was also the biggest big one, and then Chowdhury as well was one of the ones that I probably missed. Outside of that, Chris Green only 15 owned and 3% in the top 1%, so 14 other owners there, and we'll get to him. But yeah, that basically shows that there wasn't too much out of this game that I missed necessarily, and that Bancroft was 22% owned, or what did we say, 23% owned for a 21 isn't the worst, to be honest with you. That's that. Then we go to Alex Hales, 3 or 4. Then he got stumped, which gave Matt Wade some points they probably didn't deserve, and he ended up getting a 38 or something. He ended up getting a 40, Matt Wade, when he really didn't play that well. He got an easy stumping for 15 points, got a caught behind as well off of Ross as well to get to 25 points before the batting, and got 15 off like 22 or something, was it? Yeah, 15 off 22 with the bat, which was really poor. You saw Kohler Cadmore run out for a diamond off Mac Wright. That was really poor running, and basically set them in the hole yet again. So yeah, that happened. Ollie Davies out to Chris Jordan, played the same shot to just a different pace, and just skied it, and Corey Anderson took the catch. Alex Ross tried to guide a ball down to third man and got out, and they basically got put in the same exact hole that they're in every single game. And it was Alex Ross and Daniel Sams that had to rebuild after 4 for 51 off 7, which might have been eerily the same exact point that they were against the Sixers a couple of nights ago. I actually want to check that now and see what were they against the Sixers. We'll have to go 2023. Hopefully this doesn't put us at the start of the year. Against the Sixers, they were, if we look at the stats here, let's look. They were 4 for 53 off 7.2. So they were 2 balls further down the track for 2 more runs, and then they lost the wicket, the 5th one, in this 16th over, whereas in this game they lost it in the, I don't think it was the 16th over, it was the 12th over that they lost it, and they were a little bit further behind in that game, but they ended up catching it up to a relative extent because of Chris Green's efforts, which we'll get to. Sam's 25 off 21, lost the strike rate bonus, but it was fine. He's so heavily owned in the top 1% that it doesn't really matter what he does. McAndrew, 7 off 5, he finally took a wicket at least, but we'll get to that, but he just doesn't produce. Him and Hatcher basically are just one bowler and sort of a batter in a sense, but they don't really produce that much. So I reckon you can just sack one of them off, and you can get Jason Sanger, or you can get Gilks back into the lineup. And I don't even have Sanger anymore. I'm just saying this just because this happens week in, week out. They get 4 for 50 and then they have to rebuild with Sams and Ross, and Sams doesn't want to rebuild. He wants to be able to hit the ball and doesn't want to have to go at a strike rate of 120. He wants to go at 160, 170. So they're always in this hole, and then it always comes down to, can Chris Green almost dig out the last sort of 3 overs and make 30 odd off them to get them up to that 150, 160. It seems to be happening repetitively, and their bowling is fine. They only bowled Sandhu 1 over this week. They could have easily bowled him his 4. So they have enough bowlers there. Put in Gilt, and then you have a lefty, and you have a point of difference. So it just is a little bit weird. Sandhu, Chris Green with a 33 off 17, huge for my side, having the 58 batting points, which was huge, and then he took a catch as well. Didn't bowl particularly well, but did his job, got to 71, hit his break even, and is making a little bit of cash before his trade out, as he is not needed for round 6. If I quickly bring up that over here, let me just bring up my Excel spreadsheet here. There we go, that should be loaded now, so there we go. There we go. You can see with Chris Green here, if I just sort of do it here, you can see he's probably only going to make 1,800 off of a 7 difference in his break even from 64, I want to say. If we go over here to Chris Green, 64 break even, but you can see here that he should be making around 2k, which will be huge for the trade out of him. And you can see a lot of green in this, which is really, really good for me. And yes, so only really Ahmad Wasim and Tanveer Sangha, who I had to bring in because of the rain out, in the potential double rain out. I had to bring back Tanveer Sangha, and that was a much better option than Jason Sangha, who didn't play. And then also, if I just look at this quickly, you'll see it was either Jason Sangha. Kane Richardson is a chance not to even play at the moment, given the weather. And also, Osama Mir was out anyway because he was, well, 1, he was locked at the time, and 2, he's not playing anymore, so there's no point bringing him back in. If I just X out of that, there you go. And then we go back here. So Tanveer Sangha definitely worked out. And then we go back to this. I'll get rid of that. Gurinder Sandhu, 13 off 12. He did all right, but should have just given the strike back to Chris Green a lot, basically, with what was happening, and almost basically caused Chris Green to not have strike in the second last over, which almost probably cost them a good 5, 6, 7 runs, which in the end didn't matter anything, but it could have made a massive difference at the time when they were chasing 160 odd, and they were like, what? And then they were needing like 130. They were needing almost 10 runs and over it. Well, it was 8.5, but it could have been easily 9 or 9.5 that they needed, and your mind starts almost playing tricks on you that at that point. But Riley Meredith, 4 overs, done for 31, didn't do anything with the ball, and will be interesting to see who I go for in the Hobart double. Nathan Ellis, 4 overs, 1 for 39, wide, no ball, and dot ball, so we ended up with, I think, like a 25 or something. 23 for Nathan Ellis, so that'll be interesting to see if he's actually fieldable in the double. I think it will be more likely than not that I go for someone like a Paddy Dooley at that point, as Paddy Dooley is 137k. He is going to go down another potential 4 or so k to 133, and then he's still got another round to go where he will probably have, if we look at his splits here, you'll see he probably will have he'll probably have a decent break even, so he may hit it in his next round. But will be interesting to see what how he's played, as he did take, I think, was it 2 wickets that he took? Yeah, he took 2 wickets, but just got hammered. So it'll be interesting to see what he's priced at come his double. And then Chris Jordan was absolutely huge. And if we look at Chris Jordan again here, 69 points, a 113 break even. So he may be interesting. I just need to check his availability. I'm pretty sure he's available. I just want to double check that as a... well, a 68, I believe, difference, or no, sorry, a 78 difference here, and that got him minus 20k, whereas he actually went only 44 difference, so you should see him go down probably to 122, 123 before the double, and that'll be also with, I think, a high break even, a relatively high break even after this 120 should be scrapped, which will be interesting to see if he does well again. And we'll see with that And then you got Nikhil Chowdhury, another guy to look at on the double. There may be a chance that I only go for one other Hobart Hurricane, as well as having Ben McDermott probably on the sort of batters bench potentially. Or I thought about earlier today trading out the likes of Josh Philippe, but he may be needed just so that I can access both of Inglis and also McDermott. So that'll be sort of an interesting one to look at. I may look at McDermott on the batter's bench rather than the wicketkeeper's bench to play off of to loop him in, because I'm not as confident with him as I am with Inglis. So there's that. But Chowdhury is also another guy that you could potentially look at. 4 overs, 2 for 26, and he does usually get a bat, but they're performing a lot better with the bat, and you'll see that in the last couple of games. So he may, and batting at 7, he may not get as much of a bat in the games than he is at the moment, but we'll see with that. I do like him as a very, very cheap option, allowing you to get more primos from the other sides. Hurricanes here, you'll see Matt Wade, 15 off 22, didn't get any strike rate bonus. Caleb Jewell, 31 off 20, 155 strike rate, so got the 51 points for him. And I believe, did he have any impact in the field? No, just 51 straight for him. Mac Wright, 34 off 25, got out right near the end basically, and got in the end a 136 strike rate, so that's a plus 10, so a 44 for him. And I believe you're going to run out, so 64. Let me just check. Yeah, 64 for him. And then you have Ben McDermott, 53 from 34. This is the Ben McDermott we want. He ended up with a 155 strike rate, so he ended up getting a 53 plus 10 to a 63 plus 20 for the strike rate to an 83, I believe. Let me just double check that for the highest score of the game, and I was certainly going to take that off the wicketkeeper's bench, so I flicked around Josh Inglis and took him, used him in the wicketkeeper slot, and that's why that was so crucial, having that dual position player in Inglis to be able to, I guess, loop better in this round. And he also saved me some potential cash in case I needed to do some last minute trades with these washout games, especially with game 22 between the Sixers and the Heat being washed out. Then we go, and then Corey Anderson, 12 off 8, didn't get the strike rate bonus, so only got 12. Then we go to the bowlers. Daniel Sams, 4 overs, 1 for 37, 8 dot ball differential, I believe, and 2 wide. So we ended up at 61, I believe. 63 for him. And you see here 25, 20, 10, minus 2, and a 10 for a catch as well to get to a 63, which is still a decent performance. Sandhu, only 1 over, doesn't matter. Chris Green, 3 overs, done for 32 and 3 dot balls, but he got that catch off of Samveer Sangha. That was a plus 31 for me, that delivery, and it got rid of Wade, who was relatively highly owned around the SuperCoach community. And so that was a really good win there, especially with Wade also potentially out as well with back issues. They're reoccurring, and it seems like he probably is only going to play 2 games in every 3. So there's potential DMPs, especially in the double. So I wouldn't be targeting Wade in the double, and I'd also be liking that because McDermott can be used as a wicketkeeper, and that's just more potential points there if that does occur. So yeah, Chris Green sucked. Tanveer Sangha got hit for a last ball 4, which sort of sucked for his economy rate bonus. That lost him 5, but the 10 dot balls, 1 wicket, and 5.5 economy for a 15, 25, a 45, I believe. And he might have had a dot ball that was off a leg by, so they don't count that. So he got a 44 in the end, which is still really, really good. Does drop relatively about 6 or so K because of the break even, but it's points that matter at the moment, especially with all the people that are going to be copping donuts from DMPs and stuff like that. I suspect a lot of people are at least copping 1 donut. And I feel like I'm copping potentially 1 donut, but a lot of people are probably already copping a 0 on field. So for me to have a 44 was a really good score rather than a potential donut in Kane Richardson, just because he had a 13 break even rather than a 67 break even of Tanveer Sangha. Nathan McAndrew, 3.1 overs, 1 for 21. Pretty decent from him. And then Liam Hatcher, 3 overs, none for 29 with the 2 wides and 7 dot balls. So he ended up only scoring, I think, a 5 plus a 6, so 11 for him probably, yep. And then you had Gurinder Sandhu on a 16 just because of his batting effort. And then also McAndrew on a 46 from a pretty poor return from him. Well, he didn't play the greatest, but he still ended up on a 46. But that is basically the video there. Wrapping up one of the final game reviews that you'll have from me, as I won't be recording anything for a solid almost a week and a half. So you won't see any other game reviews other than the 1-2 night of the Melbourne Derby. That will be tomorrow, I believe, and then that's that. But that is pretty much all that is said and done about this game, and the Hobart Hurricanes ended up winning by 7 wickets with about 7 balls to go, was it? No, 11 balls to go, and we got the Betty McDermott finally turned up. So that's the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.